Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is you are watching this from. My name is Elliot Upton. This is UP Fitness Live. This is our live Q&A that comes at you every Wednesday, 8 p.m. UK time, every other week. I'm here to answer questions, to go through anything you want me to go through with regards to our own products, our own programs, our supplementation, our online training, the Live Up program, and anything else that you can imagine. Feel free to shout any questions out you want. Make sure you are kind, make sure you are loving to everybody else in here. No abuse or you will be banned. Other than that, you're all good. Anything goes. Announcements this week. Back in Marbella now. I've been back in Marbella for about 3 weeks, which has been absolutely awesome. Getting some consistency back into my diet. Let me move that light so it's not giving you some real weird stuff on my glasses. I think it's going to anyway. Consistent diet. I put a post about it yesterday on my social media with regards to just general consistency and how much of an unbelievable effect it can have on your progress. Now, while I've been traveling, probably the previous 3 months, near enough, I was traveling constantly. I was in hotel to hotel, eating in airports, eating in hotels, eating in restaurants, eating as well as I could, I was eating damn near the exact same amount of food that I'm eating now, damn near the exact same calories, just very, very irregularly, big gaps between meals, etc., etc. For about 3 to 4 weeks now, I've been back in one place. I've been eating on schedule, been eating consistently. My weight has gone from 102 kilos down to 92 kilos, okay, just from consistent eating. Now, what that also means is when I've been consistently eating, it's no coincidence that when you are being compliant and you are doing that consistently, that progress starts to happen. The other thing that you have to bear in mind, that if you're doing this with a trainer, if you are not being compliant and you're not establishing a very steady baseline, that trainer cannot make educated changes. This is very, very important, something that I go into quite a lot on the Live Up plans. It's hugely important that you are consistent over time, because otherwise you're never going to know what has worked and what hasn't based on the progress that you get. Get on it. Right, I'm going to scan back up to the top just to see if anyone has said anything. What have we got? What have we got? Loads of you coming in. Loads of you coming in. Loads of you coming in. Who's going to take the question virginity tonight? Anybody there? Anything, 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 anything? No, we're good. All right. We'll take them off. Right. Do you drink alcohol? As I find it often leads to failure in a lot of people's deficits. Of course it leads to failure. It's a massive, massive, massive issue with most people's transformations. I very, very, very rarely drink. When I do, I kind of make it worth it. It's usually at events. I mean, to put it in perspective, last year, I probably drank 4, maybe 5 times the entire year last year, possibly even less. This year, since I've been home, we've had a couple of opening parties, so I've had a few drinks, but other than that, I'll probably just dwindle it off for the rest of the summer, and probably won't do anything, maybe the odd holiday. Like I say, holiday, I'll go to Ibiza for a day with my closest friends. We go out there for a day, we have a pie, we come back, that's about it. I'm not a massive drinker. The reason being is not only does it affect me very negatively from a body composition point of view, but it's my brain more than anything, I know that after a night out, my brain has stopped working. It just doesn't work for at least a week or so, and it really, really gets me because I get behind on my work and it's just not worth it. So do I drink? Yes, every now and then. Do I drink regularly? Absolutely not. And does it affect your progress? Absolutely. Hi, why am I so thirsty the more I drink water? Relka Fitness, it's potentially just the fact that you're excreting more. If you're drinking plenty and plenty of water, your body's going to upregulate the amount that it pushes out. So it could potentially just be that, But again, how much is too, what is your perception of enough water? For the majority of people who think they're drinking enough water, they're actually drinking about half the amount they should be. To put that in perspective, I drink about 4 to 6 of these a day. Now, I do sweat quite a lot and I live in a hot country, but 4 to 6 of these every day, and that's a 1.5 litre bottle. It's currently got Amplify in it there, just in case you're wondering. Amplify is our intra-workout supplement, but it's full of leucine, and leucine is very, very good for extending the period of time that your body is going through protein synthesis. So if you were to take that, say you have your meal, have your average meal, full of protein, potentially some carbs, etc., especially post-workout, protein synthesis is starting to build muscle tissue. Leucine will actually assist that and help that continue for longer, therefore you're going to be building more muscle, burning more fat. It's very, very much worth an hour after you have a meal, dropping something like a serving of Amplify, downing a serving of Amplify. It's going to, number one, kill your appetite completely, so you're going to be much less likely to overeat, and secondly, it's going to increase protein synthesis, therefore allowing you to build much more muscle much more quickly. worth a shot. You can get it on upfitness.com. See how slow my brain is working today. You can get it on upfitness.com. Go to the search bar, type in Amplify. It's our intra-workout supplement. Very, very useful if you have struggles with your appetite, etc. Dave Cratchit, blocks under heels for squatting. Mechanical advantage there, for beneficial or cheating? It's beneficial, and if anything, I'm not going to say it's cheating, no, not at all. It's beneficial for the majority of people who don't have ideal levers, aren't perfect levers. It's absolutely worth doing. It's the same as wearing squatting shoes. No one is going to convince an Olympic lifter wearing lifting shoes that they are cheating. Not going to happen. So by all means, use them. I got 8 weeks into my first show, age 50. How should my water consumption look leading up to date? Coach DHP, I don't deal with anything fitness, bodybuilding, this, that, and the other. You know, with regards to water manipulation, stuff like that, I don't think it's intelligent. It causes massive, massive issues with people's livers, potentially more dangerous than the other stuff that a lot of people use when they're competing. So not really something I want to advise on. You're better off going to whoever's helping you prep, or someone who does that and are more comfortable offering advice on that. It's not something I'm a fan of. It's not a world that I want to be a part of. How to grow muscles, how muscles grow. Muscles grow predominantly through two things. First and foremost is mechanical stress and progressive overload. So by putting a stress on the muscle tissue, i.e. weight training for instance, putting a heavy load on the muscle tissue is going to cause damage to that muscle tissue. You then need to feed yourself plenty of protein and the right macronutrients, potentially some carbohydrates and a good amount of calories overall, to then help your body recover and rebuild the broken down muscle structures. Then when you train the next time, you need to progressively overload, aiming to build on top of your previous weights, on top of your previous best. You're building up an increase in load every single time, and that is going to create a continued demand for your body to put on more muscle. But you have to be eating correctly and you have to be sleeping well. Instagram, I've just had a slip disc in my lower back, did it 3 weeks ago. Doc says rest, physio says build up muscle, gentle exercise. What's your thought? Honestly, I would suggest you listen to your physio. Doctors on the whole, they're incredible at certain things they do, but on the whole their knowledge of movement, how the body works and training is quite outdated and often, in my opinion, a little bit incorrect. Whereas a physio is much more likely to be based in, they're going to have a greater knowledge of movement and the relation of your injury to the movements that you're going to need to be doing. So I'd be inclined to listen to your physio on that one. Charlie Houston, what's up? Is Amplify what we drank pre-workout in the seminar? Yes, it is, Joanne. Leaving my second portion of carbs, 50 grams of oats and a scoop of protein before bed, sleeping like a baby. Is this okay within the plan of cut out all fat still for the week? Absolutely, yes, Alex, it is. Carbohydrates help to elevate serotonin, and that's going to help you sleep much, much better. This is why we would usually push them towards the end of the day, carbohydrates towards the end of the day, or post-workout. Post-workout, they're going to serve to increase the amount of protein uptake into the cells, and also, you know, help refuel the cells, refuel muscle glycogen. At the other end of the day, when you go to bed, it's going to help elevate serotonin, which is going to put you in a restful sleep, therefore letting you recover far better, grow and burn fat more. Rich Kelly, hi, glad to see you back online. Are you doing the live links again? If so, when and where? Rich Kelly, I do these live feeds every other Wednesday, whereas last year I was doing them every Wednesday. This year I do them every other Wednesday. What are your thoughts on bulletproof coffee, myth and truth, I assume? It's just a coffee with a shitload more calories, basically. It's tasty, don't get me wrong, but it's a coffee with a shitload more calories. This whole movement, when all of that whole butter and coconut oil and all this shit came out, you know, you've all heard me rant about it 1,000 times. It just gave everybody an excuse, because people are like, oh, coconut oil is a superfood. I'll put it in everything. Literally, put it in their fucking eyeballs, put it in their bath, put it in their coffee, put it in their tea, put it in their protein shakes, you name it, they put fats in it. What happened? Everybody just got fat. You add an extra 1,000 calories worth of stuff to your day, 1,000 calories worth of fats to your day for no apparent reason. Bulletproof coffee, in my opinion, is in the same vein as that. You know, I'm not a huge fan of having clients drink coffee anyway, because it usually destroys their gut. When their gut is not working, it's going to have a knock-on effect to their transformation. It makes it a much, much, much harder transformation when someone is drinking coffee, in my personal opinion, in my experience with my own clients. So I try to take coffee out entirely. What kind of workout is best for someone trying to lose fat and gain some muscle? Push, pull, upper, lower, and also when would cardio fall into plan? Mitch, I would actually suggest full body 3 to 4 times a week. You train your entire body 3 to 4 times a week. That's going to give you per hour the biggest metabolic output, which is therefore going to burn the most fat very, very quickly. Again, because of the amount of volume that you're going to be able to manage in that hour, it's actually going to stimulate the muscle just enough without smashing it to pieces to allow you to recover optimally as well. And I would suggest cardio as needed. You know, for the most part, I advise that people get out in the morning before they have their breakfast and just take a quick walk. You know, walking for 20, 30, 40 minutes sets everything up in your brain differently. It changes your entire life. So that's what I tend to advise for people doing sort of cardio, quote unquote. But otherwise, full body training 3 to 4 times a week rather than like a push-pull split. You can still do a push-pull split, but I would do full body push-pull split. So let's say day 1, full body push, day 2, full body pull, rest day, and then day 4, full body push, day 5, full body pull, and then 2 rest days, or you can do 2 on, 2 off, etc., etc. There's a million ways to do it. When calculating calorie intake, it's under 1200 calories. I've seen elsewhere that we shouldn't drop below 1200 calories. What do you mean when calculating calorie intake? It's under 1200 calories. What's under 1200 calories? With stuff like that, for me, calories are one of those things. Everybody has a different kind of metabolic set point, somewhere where they're going to lose fat. Some people, some women, I know my own sister, when I had her on the Live Up plan, we got her very, very lean, got her in amazing shape. She was burning fat on about 2,500 to 3,000 calories a day as a minimum, right? I am 37 kilos heavier than her, do a considerable amount more exercise than her, yet my own calorie baseline where I don't start losing fat is about 1,900 calories. So we're all very, very different. To say that you shouldn't go below a certain point, it's not really correct, you know? If a body is nourished, like truly nourished, it has the right nutrients in the diet, then lower calorie dieting isn't necessarily a problem. Of course, I wouldn't advise staying down there for too long, but to say that there is a lower ceiling, you know, it's very, very different from person to person. Yes, for instance, I probably wouldn't, me personally, go down below about 1,500 as a 90-something kilo man, but I know that I have to go down below 1,900 in order to lose fat. Okay, whereas I know people at the same weight as me who will burn fat at 6,000 calories. So everybody's very, very different. It's about finding what's right for you and adjusting things around it and being intelligent. You know, for me, I know that when I go down there and I have to lose fat at, say, 1,900 calories, I usually have about a 2-week window before my body will stall and it will push back against me. Now, currently what I'm trying with that is when I hit that window when my body stagnates, I will refeed, I will spike my calories, usually double or treble them, and then I go straight back into the deficit to see how I work. And thus far, it's working quite well. But, you know, we do have upper and lower limits, but it's different for every single person. Is fasted weight training beneficial? Genuinely fasted, I wouldn't necessarily say so, no, because you're going to be breaking down muscle tissue very, very quickly, and that's not necessarily something you want. Secondly, you're probably going to be quite fatigued. You may not be getting the best session. However, if you are talking about fasted, i.e. no food, but you take something like Amplify during the session, you know, do a double serving of Amplify and 1.5 litre bottle of water and make sure you finish the whole thing by the time you finished your training session, then yes, it could be very, very beneficial. What fasted training does is it helps to increase hormone sensitive lipase, which is essentially like a fat burning factory in your body, and by increasing that over time it allows you to burn more fat more easily. It's not a case of when you are fasted you're going to burn fat faster. It's not how it works. When you are fasted you're going to burn more calories from fat. It's not how it works. You're going to burn the same amount of calories. The difference being is it does over time increase hormone sensitive lipase, which is going to make your body much more efficient at burning fat. So yes, it can be beneficial, but I wouldn't necessarily suggest doing it truly fasted, i.e. nothing at all. Visceral fat, the best way to get rid of visceral fat being fat around your organs is going to be a very, very good diet and regular exercise. It's not rocket science, that one. Is waking up early to work out more beneficial than sleeping in and working out? In my opinion, abso-fucking-lutely. Waking up early, if you can get into the habit of waking up early regularly, it will change everything in your life. It doesn't matter what you do for a living, what you want to do. By getting up early and getting your shit done earlier, you become more productive, your brain works better, your body works better, everything improves. So all of you out there, I highly recommend you get up earlier, you get your shit done earlier, and it will have an enormous knock-on effect to the rest of your life and the rest of your day. Now, that is not necessarily to say that physically it is the best time. The best time realistically for you to work out is when you're going to give it your most, when you're really going to put the effort in. However, if you're being a lazy ass and you are taking lie-ins all the time, rather than going to bed a bit earlier and waking up a bit earlier, that is going to have a negative knock-on effect to your life. Trust me when I say your body prefers being up early, especially if you run your own business or you have anything like that, because the time between say 5 a.m. and 8 a.m., the amount of shit you can get done, you can, by the time most people are waking up ready to go to work, you can wake up, do your food prep, you can train, you can answer probably your entire day's emails by the time anyone else in the office has even woken up. Okay, you've got most of your day done. Suddenly your day opens up, you've got endless amounts of time, you're incredibly productive, you're becoming considerably more successful because of the amount of shit you can get done. So yes, waking up early in the morning is far more beneficial to you than taking a lie in my opinion. Hey mate, what's up? Alex, you're welcome. Rich Kelly, I've just joined up to Live Up, but I don't do Facebook, so is there any other way to join the forum? No, Rich Kelly, the only option you really have there is to set up a dummy account. If you set up a dummy account, send a request to it, and then go on in. That doesn't mean you have to use Facebook, it just means it gives you access to the forum that way. You know, if you get tied into the Facebook thing and you start wasting time in it, that's a very different thing. But if you just set up a dummy account that no one is, you don't have any friends, you don't have anything, it just gives you a way into the forum. Mike Smiley, I'm thinking of doing a 12-week program with yourselves. With regards to the workouts, are they a mixture of free weights, machines, or can I choose? Mike Smiley, if you're doing a one-to-one online training, it's almost certainly going to be a mixture of the two. You're going to get far more benefit out of free weights versus machines, but the majority of programs are going to be a mixture of the two, because restricting yourself to one or the other is going to result in a suboptimal program and therefore potentially suboptimal results. So we would usually integrate more than one form of equipment. James Hornsey, I've been doing some faster walks in the mornings. Would it hurt to swap one of them for small faster swim once a week? No, not at all. Go ahead. Thanks, I've got issues and drink a lot of coffee. Then Greg, I highly recommend you stop it, and you stop it quickly, and you will find that probably over a period of a week or two, everything changes. Everything changes. You're welcome, Mitch. No problem. Lift Heavy, do you offer individualized programs in UP Live and adjust the program according to progress? Lift Heavy, we offer individualized programs in our one-to-one online training. Yes, absolutely. That is where you are you are assigned a specific trainer who you have access to 24/7 via private email, and everything is customized to you. The diet, the supplementation plan, the training program. The Live Up is a pre-made program. It is not customized to you, but basic dietary adjustments are made along the way. Okay, so they're quite different products, hence the price being very, very different. You know, one-to-one online is our custom product. Everything is customized to you down to the finest detail. Live Up is not, but that's why Live Up is only $50 per month. Let's try and get my head back in the game there, folks. Apologies for that. Just joined Live Up, got skinny, thin legs, going even thinner. What do you suggest? Jay Dolly, I suggest you train them harder and heavier and they'll grow. Can you expand on your comment about cutting coffee out? It's the same caffeine that's the issue. So same for Diet Coke. What about using caffeine as a pre-workout stimulant? Finding fitness, I don't use caffeine at all. I try to tell my clients, don't use it. You're overstimulated anyway. You know, we live lives where we're massively overstressed, overtrained. We've got relationship stress, family stress, work stress, personal stress. The screens that I'm looking at right now, I've got two cameras pointed at me and a big light here. They are stimulating my nervous system and causing another stress that shouldn't be there. Okay, all of this is stimulating my adrenal glands. It's stimulating the release of cortisol. It's stressing me out. Then to add to that, I take in caffeine, okay? Caffeine again overstimulates my adrenal glands. It exacerbates these problems. Now we all know that stress has a negative effect on body composition and the progress that you should be making in the gym or generally in life. If you are then adding on top of that with something like caffeine, it's a very, very silly thing to do in my opinion. Not only that, but caffeine in its many forms, let's leave Diet Coke and fizzy drinks aside because that's a whole different thing. It is going to attack your gut. In my opinion, and for the majority of clients that I've seen, it's to a degree, it's a poison for the majority of people's guts. And especially because most people's guts are inflamed and they are potentially damaged, they become particularly sensitive to things like coffee. The same applies to diet drinks, Diet Cokes, etc. it's going to have a negative effect. If you are serious about your results, genuinely serious about your results, for the majority of you, I would suggest ripping out coffee and ripping out all of your diet sodas until you are very, very lean. When you are lean, when you have the body that you want to have, you'll be much more acutely aware of whether something is causing you damage or not. If it's causing you damage, it will show in water retention, it will show in bloating, things like that. You know, the amount of you out there that complain about IBS symptoms, you know, oh, I just don't know what it is, I can't possibly, you know, I've tried everything under the sun, apart from stopping drinking alcohol, apart from stopping drinking coffee, apart from stopping drinking diet sodas, apart from taking dairy out of your diets. You know, and those are usually the solutions. Training after work around 5 p.m. You need to change the ordering of meals based on your particular schedule. How do I know how to do this? What do you mean, Katie? Should I assume you're on the live up plan there? Visceral stomach fat, what's the best to get rid of? Alton, so that's not visceral fat, that's subcutaneous fat you're talking about. So that is going to be, again, exactly the same thing. Getting rid of fat is going to be about diet and exercise. Very, very simple. It's not rocket science. So Elliot, my girlfriend has PCOS. Can she still use the UP Life plan? She can, yes, Luke, to a degree. I mean, obviously, with someone like PCOS, she's probably going to be better off with one-to-one because the level of customization that she may potentially need is not really going to suit her perfectly. With PCOS, a much lower carb approach is usually far more beneficial, whereas Live Up contains quite a good amount of carbs. It's not necessarily going to be the best bet. By all means, you can try it, but with particular medical issues like that, you're always worth going for something like one-to-one over something like Live Up. Mitch Williamson, thanks for your answer, mate. I try my best to stick to clean eating, but then always end up failing and eating shit and struggle to get back to it. I work in an office and just want to eat good. Mitch, then my advice would probably be not to take yourself to such extremes. The usual reason for people doing that is that they try to go from eating shit, and then they go completely to the other extreme and try and eat so clean to cut out all freedom that eventually their body has to revolt. It has to come back, you know, so try and find a happy balance. You know, if you're eating 4 meals of shit right now, eat 3 meals of good, 1 meal of shit. Those extra nutrients, the extra thermic effect is going to cause some change. It's going to elicit some result, albeit a slow result. You have to take small steps, small measurable steps towards your progress. Otherwise, if you try and take massive leaps, you're always going to fail. Always going to fail. Intermittent fasting diet while weight training, yes or no? In my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think people who can get away with intermittent fasting and who are looking for a transformation, okay, please make sure you can define the difference between weight loss and a transformation. Okay, weight loss is just getting as much weight off you as possible. A transformation is getting as much fat off you as possible whilst building or maintaining muscle. Now, in my opinion, in order to do that, you need to be eating as regularly as possible. Intermittent fasting, in my opinion, does not work for a transformation. You know, don't get me wrong, delaying breakfast a little bit so you have more food to eat later in the evening when you're likely to be craving more is potentially an intelligent way of doing it, but I wouldn't have said that's intermittent fasting. It's just delaying breakfast a little bit. And then after that, you should be eating as regularly as possible in order to stop any muscle breakdown. Especially for females, this is very, very important because you find that stress hormones tend to get quite high in order to try and keep blood sugar stable, and insulin and cortisol are bouncing up and down all day. Mood swings, energy levels are a bit off. Not really worth doing it, in my opinion. Intermittent fasting and weight training, not a huge fan of it unless you've got tons and tons of muscle and there's a good amount that it's not necessarily going to matter if you lose a little bit. Been going to the gym nearly every day for over 3 weeks, eating good, and I've only lost pounds. No matter what I try, I don't seem to be able to lose weight. Briggs, with respect, 3 weeks of eating good, what exactly are you expecting? How long has it taken you to get overweight? Daniel Cooper, how important, beneficial is water for weight loss, and should you be drinking it during workouts? Unbelievably beneficial. 70 to 80% of your body is water, okay? So you need it. It makes you tick. It changes everything. Now, it's going to help your digestion. It's going to help you to absorb nutrients. It's going to help push nutrients into your blood. It's going to help take waste products away from your blood. It's going to help cleanse the liver. It's going to help your brain work properly. It's going to keep you motivated. It's going to help food pass through you so you don't get symptoms of IBS. It's going to keep your brain completely in check. All of these things are hugely, 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 hugely important to you, not only in general day-to-day life, but also when you are trying to get a transformation, when you are trying to lose fat. If you are dehydrated, you are really, 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 really going to struggle to lose fat. Sometimes the simplest change is just to drink enough water and you'll start to see fat falling off you within a matter of days. I train 4 days a week and 3 days I focus on steps rather than cardio due to time constraints. How important is cardio to maintain definition? It depends what shape you are in, depends how much muscle you have, depends how well you are eating. For the majority of people, I would advise, irrelevant of keeping your shape, just getting out and doing a little bit of cardio every day is something that's very beneficial to everyone. It's going to help you clear your mind, it's going to help you keep your body moving, it's going to help deliver nutrients to muscle tissue, especially if you're weight training and you're breaking that muscle tissue down. But how important is it? Depends on the person. Some people can get away with doing very little cardio at all. Again, it's dependent on how hard you are training. If you are training particularly hard when you are doing your weight training sessions, again, that is cardio training in itself. So it's entirely down to you and what you feel you need. Kaylee, can you maintain muscle by eating right alone if you're unable to train for a few months for medical reasons? You probably won't maintain muscle, but you probably won't lose that much. You have to remember that your body is going to try to be as efficient as possible at all times. So it's not going to carry around excessive muscle weight if it doesn't need to, because it's a waste of energy. So unless you're giving it a reason to hold on to that muscle, i.e. weight training, it's going to atrophy and it's going to reduce the size of that muscle tissue. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things, but if you have medical issues, it's irrelevant. You just have to deal with it. You have to get past them. You have to look after yourself. You have to get well and then get back on it. You'll be amazed how quickly it comes around. I've been reading Primal Blueprint, which suggests 2 strength training workouts, one 15-minute and one 30-minute in sprints, 7 to 10 days, and 2 hours hike to trigger optimal gene expression. Basically, we're teetering injury and burnout, exercising too much. Yeah, it sounds like it. Cheers. It's a Live Up 12-week program I was thinking about. I've forgotten your first question now, Mike. It was too long ago. If you like the taste of coffee, I guess you could have decaf coffee. Remember that decaf is it's not lacking caffeine, it's just lower caffeine. Okay, it's not zero caffeine, it's just between 5 and 10% as opposed to 30-something%. So again, I would advise against it if you're serious about getting results and or if you have gut issues. Best way to rid water retention, drink more water. The more water you drink, your body is like to upregulate the excretion of that water. You are therefore going to hold a lot less of it. Very, very easy way to do it. When you say take out dairy, you're including eggs or just the rest of dairy with lactose in it? Fraser, where do eggs come from? Mitch Williamson, you're welcome. Dave Crashy, any thoughts on air fryers as a cooking method? No thoughts at all, I've got no idea. Does spasticity have an effect on the body's ability to build muscle? I have no idea, I wouldn't know. I can't seem to eat breakfast, I get an upset stomach. I read on your blog somewhere that due to bad gut health, how can I improve gut health? Your first point of call when trying to improve gut health, and it's a pretty safe bet that the majority of us out there do have poor gut health because of excessive coffee, lack of sleep, excessive stress, inflammatory foods, things that have happened to us when we were kids, things that happened to us in the womb, whatever. That most of us have got some level of gut damage. Easiest thing you can do, the first thing you need to do is remove anything that could irritate that gut, as we've mentioned before. Things like gluten, things like dairy, things like caffeine, certainly processed foods, alcohol, etc. Get all of them out of your diet, because these are the things that will be attacking your gut day after day after day after day. And even if you have the tiniest little bit of damage that was going to be insignificant, if you're smashing down 3 or 4 coffees, or you're eating a load of inflammatory food, or you're eating, or going out drinking every single weekend, that little bit of damage ends up becoming excessive damage and can sometimes become very, very difficult to repair. So you're better off taking it very, very seriously initially, getting yourself clean and healthy, getting yourself in shape, because by the time you're in shape, you will be able to tell very, very easily if something you take in is having a negative effect. As I say, you will get watery, you will get bloated, you will feel off. You'll be very, very acutely aware of negative feelings and negative reactions to certain foods. So get all of this stuff out, get yourself lean, and then start reintegrating stuff slowly to see what it is that could have been causing the damage. You're welcome, Kaylee. How much protein intake do you aim for per day and why? Depends for the majority of people. I would say for most people, you want to be aiming for 1.5 to 2 grams per kilo. That's 1.5 to 2 grams per kilo, depending on whether you're a male or a female. I personally actually have a little bit more on some days, a little bit less on other days, depending on where my carbohydrate intake is. But kicking somewhere around the 180 to 220 gram mark per day for me. But for the most part, most guys will get away with anywhere between 150 and 200. Most females anywhere between 80 and 120 at the highest end. Fuck, that was stupid. My bad, yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting one, Fraser. I don't recall the last time I saw a cow lay an egg, but it's okay. Do you know, I laugh, but everybody does it. Everybody in my entire career, going back 12, 13 years, has always included eggs in dairy. It's because I think in all the food tables, you know, the food pyramid and that, it says dairy and eggs, blah, 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 blah. We're all conditioned, we're conditioned for it, so don't stress it. How early do you recommend waking up and how much sleep should one get? Depends, each one of us is different, but the majority of people can operate extraordinarily well off between 6 and 8 hours sleep. So anywhere between there. For me, I don't wake up with an alarm. I wait for my body to wake myself up. So ideally, if I can, depending on the day, I will try to get to bed before, sometime between 10 and 11, sometimes earlier if I'm really exhausted. Like unfortunately, this week with the check-in day, for instance, the check-in day for the Live Up Plan, often I'm awake until the early hours of the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock. So I don't get to sleep until maybe somewhere between 3 and 4. That knocks me for 6, but I still woke up at about 8 o'clock. It's going to take me a couple of days to get my sleep schedule back on track. And then when that happens, I'll be waking up somewhere probably around 5 or 6, get straight up, get my shit done, send a load of emails, get a load of stuff done, get on the forums, the Live Up forums, check if there's any questions that have come from either the United States or Australia overnight that I need to answer. Then I will go down and do my morning cardio, then I will go and train. Go into the gym. I'm usually in the gym for somewhere around 9 or 10 by that time, and I've got a whole load of stuff done. I've planned out some content, I've filmed some videos, and then I'm in the gym to do the day-to-day gym, which can take me anywhere between, let's say, 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock, or 10 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night. You know, I've not long since got back now. It's now 9:30 here, so you get a lot done when you get up earlier. So I'd recommend finding a point that's suitable for you. For me, it's between 5 and 6 a.m. is about right. MJ Traders, what's up? Greg, I always get heartburn when training. Any advice? Thanks. Depends, are you eating too close to it? Are you drinking something too close? Again, are you having coffee right before? That could be a big hitter for it. I'm in the second year of university at the moment, studying sports science. I have a CP and I'm wheelchair bound and have relatively low confidence when it comes to gymming. Motivated to start, but low confidence advice. Honestly, start, just get into it, you know. The only thing that is ever going to cure you of low confidence is to put yourself in a place where you are not feeling confident and understand that pushing through it, you're going to come out the other side and think, do you know what, that wasn't bad. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was. That wasn't the demon that I made it out to be, you know. Obviously, the thoughts that we have and the things that we think are ahead of us are always considerably worse than the reality. So take a big deep breath, get yourself in there, start moving, start training, start doing what you need to do, and suddenly you'll start to get into a groove, you'll get into a comfort zone and you'll think, do you know what, this is awesome. And you know, it depends where the confidence comes from, because if I'm assuming maybe you think that people are going to be looking at you or going to be this, I can guarantee you with what you've just said to me there, anyone in any gym, if you're in there putting it down and you're doing your best, every single person is going to have nothing but respect for you. Nothing but respect. So get in, get it done, and good luck. How beneficial is L-glutamine to the gut, and is L-carnosine beneficial for weight loss or more just energy? L-glutamine incredibly beneficial to all sorts of stuff, not only the gut. It can help repair holes in leaky gut, so when you do have a damaged gut lining, supplementing with 5 to 10 grams of L-glutamine per day can be super beneficial. It also can be used to synthesize other amino acids that the body is lacking. So taking glutamine is something I highly advise. It's why, again, we have a high concentration of it in our Amplify supplement. Now, with regards to L-carnitine, is it going to have a big effect on fat loss? In my opinion, no, it really isn't. You know, 1-2%, completely unnoticeable. However, it does have an awesome awesome effect on your energy, especially mental energy, focus, etc., which is therefore going to have a knock-on effect to your performance in the gym, your activity levels, your motivation, which is of course then going to have a substantial knock-on effect to your fat loss. So do I believe it is the chemical compound that is changing the actual, actually causing the fat loss? No, but I do believe that the extra energy is causing extra activity, which is then going to have a knock-on effect to cause more fat loss. So therefore it kind of does. Graham Upton, my own brother, it's my oldest brother right there, folks. Welcome, bro. So it doesn't matter what I do, but I always wake up with the sun. Good for training, but eventually tires me out. As long as you get into bed when you get tired, you know, waking up with the sun is a really good thing. That's an awesome sign for your body. You know, that's as you should be doing it. Wake up with the sun, go to sleep when it goes down. You know, don't try to keep yourself up past a certain time. You know, if you're starting to fall into a natural circadian rhythm, this is really beneficial for you. If you're finding that you're struggling to get to sleep, then obviously switch off all of your lights, you know, try and read by candlelight, switch off blue light, don't look at your phone, or get some blue light filters. You know, I spend the majority of my time now looking into a phone screen, doing stuff like this, looking into a video camera, doing stuff like that, which has got the selfie screen turned around, or a big light. My eyes are completely fried now. The blue light that's stimulating my eyes for all this is burnt a nerve in the back of my left eye. So I wear these blue light filters. And I can tell if I've been doing something like this tonight, like now, because I'm not wearing them looking at my phone because of the bad reflection in the light, I won't be able to sleep for about 3 hours now because I'm stimulated by the blue light. When I wear those, I can be looking at my phone 3 minutes before I go to bed, put my phone down, and I'm fast asleep. They really do work. So if you're struggling to get to sleep at night, get yourself some glasses with a blue light filter in, you know, dimmer switches, put yourself in the right situation to be able to get to sleep. But with regards to waking up with the sun, you know, it's a really good thing. Just make sure you're sleeping as well. Which time is better to work out then when you're doing intermittent fasting in summer weather like 16 hours, closed windows? Sorry? Which time is better to work out when you're doing intermittent fasting in summer weather, like 16 hours, closed windows? I'm not really sure. Train when you want, basically. Train when you feel best, I would suggest. I'm not sure what summer weather has anything to do with it, unless you're doing Ramadan. But train when you feel best for it. Any advice for bad connective tissue for women? Yes, you should be weight training to a degree, especially static movements. Isometric movements are very good for improving connective tissue strength. I would also take a supplement called glucosamine chondroitin or even megacysis, and they can really help to improve white tissue, so the connective tissue, ligaments, tendons, etc. It will also be very much worth taking something like curcumin, anti-inflammatory to bring everything down, and a high dose of fish oil, probably 10 grams of fish oil per day will really help you out. Dan Colley, hi, I'm currently 2 weeks into a 12-week body transformation, eating a lot more food than I'm used to, so feeling bloated a lot. Is that normal? It's often the case. A lot of people don't realise how much they have to eat in order to get a transformation, in order to build muscle, etc. So yes, potentially is normal. What I would recommend, if you are not already, is taking digestive enzymes. Go to upfitness.com and search digestive enzymes in the search bar. Take one of them with every meal and it should really help out. You can also swig down a nice big shot of apple cider vinegar first thing in the morning. It will help get your gut working properly, and that's going to reduce bloating throughout the day. Can you recommend a good pre-workout meal that won't give me problems with heartburn? Thanks. It's probably not necessarily the pre-workout meal, it's how soon you're having it before you train. If your digestive system is not working its way through it quick enough, then you're probably going to have it repeating on you a little bit. So I would potentially not eat quite so close to your workout. Could be the issue. To the person who mentioned having CP and being wheelchair bound, first of all, if you think of improving your health, you're already doing something inspirational. Secondly, you can do this. Absolutely, Nancy, I agree. Lastly, you will inspire others. Nobody will looking at you with anything other than absolute admiration. Again, 100% I agree. Hi, Elliot. Hi. Second day on UP Online. Found I'm working in the evening due to hectic mornings with a 17-month-old. Can you explain how to adapt the meals and tailor them correctly? Thank you, Katie. Katie, there's not much adapted needed. So when I wrote the plan, I've tried to write it as simply as possible. Wherever you train, wherever you can train, whether that is morning, whether that is afternoon, whether that is evening, you will have a meal with carbohydrates immediately post-workout, okay? Then the following one, you know, all of your carb meals are post-workout. It's that simple. So it doesn't matter where you're training, you're having carbs after your workout. Now, the only time that will change is if you are training in the evening and you need to get a meal in before your workout because you're not going to eat two afterwards, then you have carbs in that, because the other rule is you have them either after your workout or in the last 2 meals of the day. There's not much rearrangement I can give you on that. You know, those are the only really 2 options. I'm not really sure what the question is beyond that. Sonny, I'm getting back spasms each year. I have decent form. Is it time to give up deadlifts at 44? Possibly not. If you're getting back spasms, it could just be an imbalance of minerals. So get yourself some magnesium. Are you taking magnesium? If not, take magnesium before you go to bed every single night. I'd probably say anywhere between 250 and 400 milligrams per night would be really, really good. If not, get some magnesium cream, topical magnesium, and rub it on the area, because again, it could just be overexcited muscles if you're getting spasms quite regularly. And I would also ask, have you had it structurally checked? You know, have you gone to a physio? Have you gone to somebody who can actually see what's going on in there? Have you had it scanned? Because obviously, if you're 44 years old, you're still deadlifting, wouldn't necessarily advise deadlifting super heavy all the time, but certainly deadlifting is going to do nothing but good for your back if done correctly. You know, it's going to help maintain back strength, it's going to help maintain muscular integrity, which is going to help maintain overall structural integrity. So I would say stick with it, just do it with caution, and make sure that you're taking something like magnesium to keep the muscles chilled and relaxed so they don't spasm quite so much. And if there is a potential for an underlying issue there, go and see a physiotherapist or a sports therapist who can assess you. Colette Sherry, hello to you, Colette. All right, I've run out of questions there, folks. Can you get a program with yourself on UP? Greg, I don't do any one-to-one anymore. I don't do any one-to-one online anymore, but you can join the Live Up program, which is overseen by me. I oversee everything from the forums to the check-ins. I wrote the program myself, all of the programs myself, wrote the diet myself. So it's essentially you training with me, and it's only £50 per month, so you can get on that. And with regards to specific one-to-one training, I don't actually do it anymore. I've not done it for a good few years now, but that's the next best thing for sure. And alternatively, you can train one-to-one with any one of the UP trainers, obviously all of whom are exactly on a par with me. You know, we all know the same stuff. We've all been taught in the same way, so you're always going to be in amazing, amazing hands, if we do say so ourselves. Shift workout, magnesium before sleep, regardless of time. Yes. You want to be taking magnesium anyway, because it's going to help maintain a slightly calmer nervous system. It's going to improve your health no end, but also, especially with shift working, you want to have restful sleep. Wherever your sleep happens to be, you want to make it as restful as possible. This is very, very important. So yes, still be taking magnesium for it. Daniela Cooper, if you had to estimate, how soon could one see results from cutting coffee and increasing water take? 3 days, 4 days, maybe? You know, one of the other things, if you're drinking coffee, Danielle, you asked earlier about water retention. If you're drinking coffee, coffee is going to make you retain water because it's going to elevate your cortisol. That is going to cause especially water retention around the abdomen, around the love handles, etc. So that immediately is going to cause some element of bloating. Welcome, Greg. Oh, my mouth is so dry and I've run out. Oh no. Remember folks, while I'm filling in this gap, all of these live feeds go up on YouTube afterwards. So when I finish here, I usually go straight down, I start downloading everything. By tomorrow morning, it will be loaded onto my computer. Then I will edit it, then I will get it up on YouTube. It will usually be up on YouTube by tomorrow night because it takes forever to save. But just be aware, if you've missed anything today, you can go back for a second chance. And you can also see all of the other live feeds I've done over the last like year and a half now. God, I've been doing them a long time. Forearm pain at the bottom position when doing ring dips. Any idea why? Liam, it's very, very difficult depending on where the forearm pain is. That's a really, really hard one for me to know because without being able to see and palpate and see what's going on or watch your form on the dips, it's quite an issue. You know, the potential one I'm thinking is that maybe it's in here, if it's in the wrist, that kind of area. Could just be the fact that you're compressing, your wrist is in the wrong position, but hard to say without knowing exactly where. Water intake confuses me. Can you explain a little bit for me? I'm always feeling bloated. What's confusing, if you don't mind me asking, Lou? Easiest thing to think of. Golden rule. For women, 4 litres. For men, 6 litres. Those should be the targets. Very, very simple. When you're drinking it, your body is going to excrete it. It's going to improve your digestion. It's going to improve your mental clarity, your cognitive ability. It's going to improve your skin, your hair, your teeth, your nails, your vision. It's going to improve energy. It's going to improve your sleep. You name it, is going to improve it. Not intake, levels. Again, that doesn't make any sense to me. What do you mean? Levels of retention? Don't know. I'm confused. I'm confused by the question. Please reword it in such a way that I can understand it, please. Thank you, please. Don't know. Yeah, don't skimp on your water is the moral of the story. You know, if you're not drinking enough water, you're really going to struggle, and that is a bad thing. And we all do it, we're all guilty of it, because it's the same with like our vegetables. The two things that the majority of us don't do enough of is eat enough green vegetables and drink enough water. It's probably, almost certainly, part of the reason why my brain is kind of screwed up tonight. I keep slurring my words, I keep kind of tripping myself up with my tongue. It's because today I've done all sorts of stuff. I'm running around like a blue-ass fly from first thing in the morning, and in the heat here I've been sweating like crazy. I've probably dropped 10 pints of sweat, but I've still only drunk 4 of these, which is 6 litres, absolutely. But for me, and I can taste it, I'm dehydrated. I don't have enough water in my body, and I can feel that is why my brain is not working as well as it should be. I'm not thinking as quickly as I usually am, and I'm sort of tripping myself up with my tongue. That, my friend, is because I'm not hydrated. Now, I'm acutely aware of it. You know, I'm very body aware. I can feel what's going on with me at any given time, and that is indeed the case right now. All right, come on, folks. We are ticking down, so get on in. Sorry, when people discuss how water can affect your weight, etc., getting tongue-tied. Yeah, I'm still not quite seeing a question there at all. Cruciferous vegetables producing bloat, would you cut them out or reduce volume? I would start by reducing volume. Cruciferous vegetables are very useful for many reasons, including their ability to control hormonal levels. They're full of indole 3-carbinol, which helps to bring down toxic estrogens. It helps detoxify the body. But the fibers in them are quite aggressive and can be very difficult for the digestive system to work their way through, which to a degree is a good thing, but in too much of a degree can be a bad thing. So what I would start, rather than taking them right out, is I would reduce the quantity of them to see how you go. Of course, if that doesn't work, then yes, I would switch up the kind of vegetables that you take in and see if there's any improvement there. Couple of questions. I'm doing a UP transformation in September, but I'm starting at another gym in between to prepare any further. Any tips? Honestly, learn how to train damn hard. Push yourself. Get into the habit of training hard and being consistent. That would be the best bet, because then whatever is thrown at you as part of a UP plan, you're going to be ready for. Live Up Plan says 3 litres of water a day. Should I increase to 6? It says a minimum of 3 litres per day. An absolute minimum. Not aim for 3 litres, it says a minimum. So yes, you should be aiming for considerably more than that. Regards to water, I'm 102 kilos, trying to lose fat. How much water intake? Again, as I say, for a male, you need to be drinking 4 to 6 litres a day, especially if you're training, in my opinion. We undercut ourselves on water. Women, 3 to 4 litres, men, 4 to 6 litres as a minimum. Also, after my UP transformation, can I join Live Up with my condition? You certainly can. Obviously, it's a difficult one because nothing is going to be customised to you. You are going to have to think on your feet. You're going to have to be able to kind of adjust your exercises to suit what you're capable of doing. And that is a very, it's going to be a difficult thing. It's not something that we can do for you on Live Up. Because it is such a low cost program, we cannot give you that level of detail within it. So absolutely you can shift across, but you're going to have to be able to adapt it yourself to suit what you're able to do. Why are Tottenham so shit? Tottenham have always been shit though, right? I haven't followed football for about 15 years, but Tottenham was shit when I was following football. Alright mate, you've posted recently about progressive overload. How would you suggest tackling this with increasing load whilst using dumbbells? By using a heavier dumbbell, maybe? Have I misunderstood that question? But by using a heavier dumbbell? I don't know. Either my brain is way off today or there's some confusing questions being thrown at me. It's most likely my brain. I'm tired today, but it is most likely my brain is not working quite as well as it should be. So I apologise for that. Come at me with some more, guys. We are on less than 10 minutes now. As always, towards the end of these, we get a 2-minute countdown when Instagram jumps in and it says, right, you have 2 minutes remaining, and then we go to quick fire where you will get short, sharp answers. So make sure you're coming at me with those answers as fast as you can, or with those questions. Team Stark, Team Cap, 100% Team Stark. 100% Team Stark. Don't get me wrong, I've got nothing wrong with Cap, but me and Tony Stark, we're like best buddies in my head. Like, you know, like, genuinely. Do you know, I almost decided to make myself bankrupt and go and see the premiere of Infinity War. I was going to just spend every bit of my savings to go and see Infinity War just because I wanted to go and meet him, and all of them, to be fair. God, it's amazing. I'm so gutted it's over. It sucks that it's over, but definitely Team Stark. What split do you recommend for fat loss when training? Full body splits, 3 to 4 days a week. As said earlier, full body, 3 to 4 days a week. How important is NEAT? NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, for anyone who doesn't know. It is incredibly important, incredibly important. If you think that you can go to the gym, no matter how hard you're training, that you can go to the gym for an hour a day, diet a little bit, you know, you're probably still going to be cheating, you're probably going to still be having some freedoms, and still get a transformation without doing anything else. If you just go and sit at your desk or sit on your sofa the rest of the time, you are very much mistaken. I would recommend that all of you aim for a minimum of 10,000 steps per day. You are as active as you possibly can. Get outside, get out and do stuff, go and do activities, get out with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your kids or whatever. Go and do something. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT as it's known, is unbelievably important, and very often is the hidden secret in fat loss. It's the hidden thing in a transformation the majority of you are missing, because you're doing your training, you're doing a little bit of a diet, and then you're going and sitting on your ass all day and not burning any calories. Incredibly important. So it is alright to have an extra amplifier every now and then when craving. Avoid it now until I think it has 10 grams of carbs. Yes, absolutely. It's very useful for that. It smashes. Amplify. If you have struggle controlling your appetite or cravings, Amplify destroys your appetite, which is awesome for those of us who like to eat too much food, or you're in a big calorie deficit. It can really do it. It offsets any muscle breakdown, which is awesome because you're going to be burning fat without burning through muscle, and it's going to help you control your appetite, so you're not likely to be reaching for the things that usually make you fuck up your diet. Highly beneficial. upfitness.com, search Amplify in the search bar, go get some. MJ Traders, abs training necessary for every day if reduced fats from lower belly part. I would get yourself lean first, then start training your abs, and then when you can see them, by all means, yes, you can train them every day. I wouldn't do masses of volume, 2 or 3 sets on a particular exercise. Each day you train, let's say you're training 3 to 4 times a week, will be more than adequate, because obviously, remember, your abs are being used in all pulling movements, all pushing movements, certainly in all leg movements, so you don't want to be overtraining them drastically, but absolutely, yes, you can be training them every day. How would you recommend someone stay motivated when their weight fluctuates massively? First and foremost is accept that your weight is going to fluctuate massively. It is never going to remain the same. Fat loss is not linear. Fat loss goes up, down, sideways, left, right, back, forth. It's going to go everywhere. First and foremost is you have to show some maturity as an adult, as a grown-up, and accept that that is going to happen. Things are not always going to go your way. You can't jump on the floor in the middle of the supermarket and start fucking stomping your feet. We are adults. We know better than that. First of all, accept that that's going to happen. Secondly, your weight in general, in my opinion, is not a good measure of progress. Why? Because your weight is made up of so many different things that can fluctuate massively, especially as a female, Jess. Your weight is going to fluctuate 2 or 3 kilos depending on the position of the moon during the month. Your weight is going to fluctuate 2 to 3 kilos dependent on your cycle, your menstrual cycle. Your weight is going to fluctuate 2 to 3 kilos dependent on the air pressure outside. Is it low pressure? Is it high pressure? Is there a storm coming? Is it about to get particularly hot? Is there a thunderstorm? These things are going to affect the water retention in your body, in all of our bodies, but more specifically in female bodies, and it can really mess with you. That aside, stress hormones, not taking a piss, indigestion, all of these things can affect the amount of water that you hold, and that is why it is not a good measure for me of your progress, and you certainly shouldn't be weighing yourself every day, in my opinion. But more understand that, understand what I've said and accept it as an adult and say, okay, yeah, do you know what, that makes sense, maybe I need to let this go. If you have a weight loss goal, 12 kilos in 14 weeks, for example, is there a calculation to work out what your estimated daily calorie deficit could be? No, that's an awfully large amount of weight in a short space of time to set yourself a target for. You may well do it, by all means, you may well do it, but you'd have to be in a pretty decent sized deficit and be extremely consistent, and nothing could really go wrong in that time. But you know, the best bet is to look at what's happening now. You know, where is your maintenance now? Are you gaining weight or are you losing weight as it is? Work out your average calories as they are now, and then just take 500 away. See what happens. Mr. Steve, doing 3 full body splits for a transformation. How would that look, bearing in mind a range of exercise available? Focus on compound. Absolutely, yeah. So to give you an idea of how I would usually do it, it would be 4 compounds, 4 isolations, basically. But that's across your entire body. So let's say we do lower body, upper body compound. We do a lower body, upper body semi-complex compound, and then we move basically to arms and shoulders. That's the simplest way to do it. And then do that 2 to 3 times a week, obviously differing exercises each time. How can I get enough exercise with an office job where I don't get to move around a lot? Is going to the gym in the evenings enough? It's better than nothing. It's absolutely better than nothing. What I would advise, if you can, is get out and go for a walk in the morning. You know, make sure if you have stairs in the office as opposed to an elevator, that you take the stairs. Can you park a little bit further away at the other end of the car park? You know, can you get a dog walk in? Can you do something? Wherever you can do anything to get some steps in, do it, and it will make a massive difference to your progress. Obviously, if you're between a rock and a hard place, you can only do what you can do, but try to do the best with what you've got. Nancy, on my one-to-one, I can have Greek yogurt. Will this change towards if I join the Live Up? I look forward to eating it. Honestly, yes. You know, I'm not a massive advocate for dairy. I don't think it's a very intelligent thing for the majority of people to do when they have fat to lose. Now, don't get me wrong. If you come to Live Up and you are super lean, like if you are absolutely diced lean, and you know that that dairy has been doing nothing negative to you, then by all means you can keep it in, not an issue. However, if you have fat to lose, if you're coming to me and you're saying I want to lose fat, and you're still shoveling dairy down your throat, I'll tell you to stop. That's the simplest answer. I have a really big appetite, feel like I'm always hungry, I have 3 meals a day and don't snack at all. Any advice? Yeah, 3 meals a day, unless they're massive meals, is probably not enough. So potentially a little bit more, or alternatively, as we mentioned a minute ago, get yourself some Amplify. Amplify is amazing at killing your appetite. Gut health, how can you start this? As I know you say it's key, I take probiotics, but what else can help? Jelly Bean, more than anything, even with probiotics, prebiotics, etc., it's about stop putting the shit in. This is what most people don't do, is that they think that by drinking, you know, not even taking a probiotic, you know, a proper probiotic is very useful. What most people think probiotics are yogurts and fucking Yakult drinks. So they think that by drinking a Yakult or eating a yogurt once per day, their entire gut is suddenly going to miraculously fix itself up, not realizing that it's probably the dairy in the yogurt that is ripping their gut to pieces in the first place. So first things first is stop putting the bad stuff in your gut. Take out the coffee, take out the alcohol, take out the processed foods, take out all the chemicals. Once that's done, that will allow your body to start repairing itself. Your body doesn't want to stay damaged. You know, what happens if you cut your arm? It says, right, there's some shit happening here, I'm gonna fix it. Leave it to me, I'm gonna fix it. Your gut is the same. If you stop damaging it, eventually it will fix itself, okay? The problem is most of us don't want to stop damaging it. We want a magic pill or a magic solution that fixes it without us having to stop all the shit that broke it in the first place. Cat V10, so who do you look up to and listen to within the industry apart from Nick, obviously? It depends on what, you know, for me, it's always been Nick. You know, Nick has been arguably the most influential male figure in my life for very many years now. So I'll always look up to Nick, you know, I'll go as far as say Nick is my hero. But I've also been lucky enough to, you know, I got very close with Charles. I used to speak to Charles every day via text and stuff before he passed away. That was always amazing getting advice off of him. Again, through Nick and through UP, I've been lucky enough, that's a 2-minute warning Instagram's given us, so this is all quick fire now. I've been lucky enough to work with some of the best trainers in the world. You know, you look at someone like Phil Learning when it comes to his business acumen and the way he runs his business and the work that he puts in, his work ethic, very inspiring. So I learned a lot from Phil Learning about how to push from PT into business, and that's been very helpful. So I recommend anyone go and check out his courses. Highly recommend that. One of my close friends, Barry, he is an incredible teacher, incredible guy, and he has an incredible skill for just putting complex things into very simple ways and making it very, very easy and enjoyable to learn. So he's a massive one as well. And then of course, I have a few of my friends, a few of my close friends from back home, back in Brighton. I have very, very close friends here. My mates Vaughan, my mates Phil especially. I spend a lot of time with my mate Phil. Really, really important to me. So, you know, I learned a lot of, I'm surrounded by a lot of very, very good people. I'm a huge, huge advocate for saying the people that you spend the most time around are the people you are going to become. So you have to choose them very wisely. So with that in mind, I'm very picky about who I'm around, who I spend time with, and I'm very, very lucky. You know, Nick obviously tops them all with it when it comes to people who have mentored me, people who have inspired me, who have set themselves as a role model. So, you know, find your people, find the people who are in line with what you want and what you need and who are willing to help. Is green tea good for fat loss? It certainly isn't. It certainly isn't a negative addition. You've mentioned overload increased circa 2% with dumbbells and mentors are pre-weighed. So just to aim for an extra rep would be enough. What's up, Meg? What you suggest is optimal sleep, 6 to 8 hours. What are your thoughts on red meat? Eating red meat once a day is absolutely fine, providing it's high quality grass-fed red meat. Is it better to drink decaf during the day instead of coffee? I would still not drink either of them, honestly. Thank you, makes sense, no problem. Last of all, thanks for your time and info. You're welcome. This is me out. I've got 2 seconds. Goodbye. Well, there we go. That was me seemingly half asleep. My brain wasn't working as well as it should have today for some reason. As I say, I think it's dehydration. I think it's too much time out in the sun. It's too much time painting the office at UP Marbella. I'm heavily fatigued, but right there is a lesson to you. You're not always going to be on firing on full cylinders, so accept it, try and work with it. Not much you can do. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, as always, put them in the comments box below. I will put links in the description box to everything that we've discussed here tonight. And if you have anything, do just ask me, and if not, get on over to @UP Fitness Live next week and join me face to face, face to screen, kind of. But until then, peace out.